Skye Squad, we are back in the building. And of course, we are talking about Nene Leakes and this lawsuit, okay? So I want you guys to go ahead and buckle up your seatbelts because there's plenty more where we've already been giving you the information from, okay? Now, of course, because this is a 74-page complaint, there's a lot of information to cover. And we've been getting bits and pieces of it in the news lately, and today's little bits are very, very interesting. So we're gonna be talking about two aspects today. And before we get into that, I wanna make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so and hit that notification bell button. Now let's go ahead and get into what's being reported, okay? So they're saying that Nene Leakes is accusing the Real Housewives of Atlanta producers of editing the infamous closet scene wherein she pulled the cameraman from her closet after the cameraman followed Kandi and Porsha into Nene's closet after she allegedly had asked them not to go into her closet and film. Well, they say this lawsuit says that she also never assaulted a pregnant Porsha Williams, which we had heard an inkling about, again, allegedly, okay? So here's what's being said. Now, we talked about how she had already been complaining to the network about Kim Zolciak and several alleged, problematic comments that Kim had made. And she was allegedly told by the network that it would be bad for business to continue to pursue that path, okay? Well, at the season 10 reunion, Kim was confronted over those cockroach comments that she and her daughter Brielle had put out there about Nene Leakes' home. And Kim had a meltdown telling Andy Cohen, that B knows I'm not effing problematic. Nene knows I'm not problematic. So Nene is pointing out that Andy later defended Kim in an interview following the reunion taping. Now, the suit is saying that the retaliation, harassment, and discrimination against Mrs. Leakes continued through seasons 11 and 12, that Kim did not appear. They say she was given an insufficient contractual guarantee regarding the number of episodes that she was guaranteed for season 11, which basically is saying that she was given less episodes for the season than the rest of the ladies, which we had already heard about back then, okay? So she is saying that she was subjected to differential treatment and excessive discipline compared to others who engaged in similar conduct. And to that end, she brought up an incident on the episode that aired on March 3rd, 2019, which was actually filmed in September or October of 2018. So she brought up this scene where, the whole closet gate, basically the incident where the ladies had come to her house to do the buy wig party. She had a breakdown and they had ended up somehow in her bedroom, and then Porsha, Kandi, wanted to go see what was inside Nene's closet, and the cameraman was following her in there. Now, the suit is saying that day, Mrs. Leakes was within 24 hours of learning that her husband was diagnosed with cancer. She was obviously distraught, concerned, and afraid. She wanted to not have to film that day, but she had no choice. Despite her telling everybody involved, Nene is saying that Porsha and Kandi went into her closet anyway, and then the cameraman followed. Of course, we all saw that she grabbed the cameraman by his shirt and stopped him from continuing to enter the closet. Now, the suit is saying the cameraman was a large, strong man who knew Mrs. Leakes. He was not worried or scared of her. She then angrily told her fellow housewives to get out of her closet. Exchanges like this are commonplace on the show. Indeed, far worse often happens, the suit is claiming. Now, Nene is saying that the issue was blown up out of proportion by NBC executives who then used it as an example of alleged concern regarding Nene's continued involvement in the show. The suit states that this included the false insinuation or claim that Mrs. Leakes had physically assaulted Kandi Burruss, who was pregnant at the time, her lawyer writes. Now, it's interesting because Radar Online has to basically point out that the attorney appears to have meant to write Porsha instead of Kandi due to her being pregnant at the time. So this is one of those instances where the suit needs to actually, of course, get that bit of information right. Now, Nene is claiming that other white Bravo stars, including Kim Richards and Luann de Lesseps, were arrested for incidents that included assaultive behavior on police officers. And she also referenced Teresa's infamous table flipping incident on camera, arguing that Bravo did nothing in that case. Okay? So there is more, because now she's also referring to the reunion for season 12, and there was sabotage with the reunion dress, allegedly. And we're also going to be talking about how this relates back to Yovanna, okay? A lot of this is saying that it came to a head in season 12. So, again, from the 74-page complaint, okay, Nene said she was iced out and not regularly scheduled with other housewives. The schedule provided to her by production consisted primarily of her filming without the rest of the housewives, often only with her own family. Now, Nene is saying that at the same time, producers were privately criticizing her for supposedly not properly integrating with the rest of the housewives. So she feels like she was put into an intentional catch-22. She claims to have been denied opportunities to film with the rest of her fellow housewives by being scheduled to film without them, but simultaneously criticized for not integrating into the group. She is saying that she believes the producers use other housewives to marginalize and ostracize her. She said these cast members would then report back to production any issues with her in an effort to further contribute to the hostility of the working environment. Then the producers allegedly refused to modify Nene's schedule despite her supplying weeks of evidence of schedules that isolated her from the rest of the housewives. So apparently it gets worse. She said for the season 12 reunion, the cast was told they would have to cover their own hair and makeup costs. Now, she is saying that together they wondered if the non-black shows were given such benefits, and they reported their concerns to no avail. Now, that was the first season where we got the Zoom reunions, and I believe that the reunions that were Zoom for housewives that year were Real Housewives of Atlanta and Beverly Hills. I cannot recall if there was any other Housewives show on at that point, but I will note that the Dallas Housewives had to also film slightly in person, but also with two people, I think, or at least one cast member two cast members participating via Zoom due to the panorama. Anyway, Nene was said she was also lied to and told to wear a darker color when the rest of the cast was appearing on the reunion show wearing white. So the suit is saying that she stopped mid-show and changed to a white outfit to match her fellow housewives. Now, we had heard this back then. I remember Nene I think she insinuated this, or she outright said it back then. The suit also goes on to say that she was in severe conflict with co-star Yovanna, who was only a friend on the show. She had requested that Yovanna not be allowed on the show, and she had explained that her mental health would suffer if Yovanna was allowed to continue to attack her. Because you guys may recall Snakegate, okay? Now, during Snakegate, everyone was wondering who was the snake in the group, who had recorded Cynthia Bailey and then, reported back to Nene Leakes, and why this whole thing happened. So she is saying that despite promising that Yovanna would not be present, the producers did invite her to the reunion. Apparently, the suit states, NBC, Bravo, and True made an exception to the rule of deference to housewives' requests of this nature, knowing that Yovanna would appear at the reunion to attack Nene Leakes exactly as NBC, Bravo, and True wanted. Nene is saying that the ordeal took its toll on her and she left the reunion before it was completed. As a result, the star said her pay was docked. Okay. Now, it's of note that no one has responded back to these accusations at all. NBC, Andy Cohen, True, nobody has responded back at this point. But it was interesting to me when she had noted that her pay was docked, because we do hear when you don't participate in the reunion that your pay is going to get docked. Okay. So I'm not surprised to hear that at all. But let me know what your thoughts are about this, of course, down in the comment section down below. Where do you fall in line with this whole lawsuit situation? As more information comes out, are you tending to believe Nene a little bit more? Are you leaning more towards the network? And what do you think can be done to rectify this situation outside of monetary damages? Okay. Let us know, because ultimately it would be nice to see Nene back on our screens on Housewives in some capacity. But at this point in time, it looks like the bridges have been burned.